Did you know that just because you receive pushback on what you say doesn't mean you're being persecuted? Hi, I'm Bryn Jocelyn, a Bible nerd trying to better understand my Bible and help others do the same. The Bible talks a lot about being persecuted. Jesus regularly warned his disciples that they would be persecuted. And in the Beatitudes, he says, "Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." In Paul's letters, he periodically talks about the persecution that he has faced by both those outside the church and those inside the church. And because of this, there are a lot of Christians who seem to argue that if they are being persecuted, then that proves that they must be doing the right thing, because the Bible clearly says believers who follow Jesus will be persecuted. First Peter talks to its readers as though they are exiles in a foreign and hostile land. It, like the rest of the New Testament, assumes that believers will be persecuted and encourages believers in how they should live in face of that persecution. They are not to rebel or fight against the culture, but reshape it from the inside out by showing the culture a better way of living, a more loving and godly way of living. It specifically challenges the idea that being persecuted itself shows that you are doing good. 1 Peter 4:15 says, "Let none of you suffer as a murderer, a thief, a criminal, or even as a mischief maker." In other words, make sure that you're not being persecuted because you're a terrible person. Unfortunately, far too many Christians fall into this trap where they are intentionally antagonistic so that they get a reaction from people and then can turn around and say, "See, this is persecution for living right." No, it's the normal pushback for being rude and unkind. But what we can learn from 1 Peter is how to respond to these fellow Christians. We first challenge them with gentleness and love, pointing out where we think they are going wrong, with the hope of helping them turn from that. To paraphrase 1 Peter, to always be prepared to give an answer in gentleness and respect. If that fellow Christian then goes on the offensive, accusing you of persecuting or restricting their rights, ironically, you are now the one being persecuted for doing what is right. And what does 1 Peter tell us to do? Leave them to it and be an example of a better way. We don't transform the world or fellow Christians by defeating them with great arguments. We do it by loving them and showing a better way. If you found that interesting, why not watch this video on whether Genesis 1 really says God created the world out of nothing?